Nobody chooses JavaScript. Python is a preference. Rust is a personality. Go is a decision somebody made in a meeting. JavaScript is just what was already running when you got here. It was written in 10 days in 1995, named after an unrelated language for marketing reasons, and it now runs on more or less every screen on Earth. You didn't pick it, you inherited it. And the thing about an inherited language is that you never audit it. You start using it, and it starts using you back. Because JavaScript is agreeable. It accepts nearly anything. Add a number to a string, and it'll work something out. Call a method on nothing, and it'll hand back a value shaped like an answer. It does not argue with you, ever. Which means your entire career in this language is really a story about one number. How long it takes you to find out you were wrong. Level 1. The first week. You don't find out. That's the whole level. 20 minutes in, a button changes color, and you feel like a door opened. A week in, you have a page that does things. Nothing has gone wrong, because nothing can go wrong yet. Your data is 4 objects you typed by hand, and your only user is you. Somewhere in there, you type 0.1 plus 0.2 and get 0.300000. Well, you get the point. Someone in a comment section says floating point. You nod and you move on, because it didn't stop you. Nothing stops you. Type of null claims to be an object. NaN refuses to equal itself. Each of these is a warning that arrives with no consequence attached, which means it doesn't register as a warning at all. What you're actually learning in week 1 isn't syntax. It's a reflex. If it runs, it's right. That reflex takes about 4 years to unlearn. Level 2. The tutorial graduate. You've finished the course. There's a to-do app, a weather app, and a clone of something with a dark theme. You can make a form talk to an API. By any reasonable definition, you can build software. And you are about to write the worst code of your life. Because this is where confidence outruns feedback. You'll await 6 requests, one after another, when they could have gone at once. And the page will feel fine, because your laptop is fast and your test data is 4 rows. You'll change an object in place and wonder why the screen didn't move. You'll write an effect that fires twice and add a flag to stop it, rather than ask why. None of it fails. It just gets slower and stranger in ways nobody is measuring. The loop here is months long, and it usually closes on somebody else. A user on a bad connection, a teammate who inherits the file. You're already writing the bugs. You're just not in the room when they land. Level 3. The first job. Then you join a team and the loop snaps shut to about 4 days. The first shock is scale. You run npm install and 30,000 files arrive in a folder you will never open. Somewhere in there is a package whose entire purpose is to report whether a number is even. It has more weekly downloads than most companies have customers. The second shock is that nobody wrote your setup. The build config predates every person on the team, and the arrangement is that nobody touches it. The third shock is the review. Someone leaves a comment. Why is this an effect? And you have no answer, because you've never needed one. For 2 years, the language took everything you gave it without complaint. Now, something is pushing back for the first time, and it isn't the machine. It's a person. That's the actual transition at this level. You stop learning from your computer and start learning from other people, because the computer was never going to tell you. Level 4. The one who reads source. Something shifts when you stop reading documentation and start reading source. It usually begins with one bug you refuse to lose to. You go down into the library, then into the library's library, and eventually, you're looking at how the thing you use every day actually works. And it's just code. Ordinary, slightly ugly, written by someone tired. 2 things click after that, and they click for everybody. The event loop. You trace why a promise callback beats a 0 millisecond timer, and asynchrony stops being whether and turns into a schedule you can read. Closures. A function holds a reference to where it was born, not a copy. Which means the year of bugs you'd filed under React being weird were all one bug, and it was yours. From here, you can predict. You look at code and know what it'll do before you run it. The first time this language has been straight with you. And the honesty came from your side, not its. The trap is that prediction feels like mastery. It isn't. It's just enough to argue on the internet with confidence, and a lot of people stop here permanently. Level 5. The one who says no. The senior job isn't writing better JavaScript. It's reducing how much JavaScript exists. Your time goes to things that never show up in a changelog. How much of this reaches the phone? What happens on the third render? Whether a migration is worth 2/4 of shipping nothing. Most of your calendar is meetings, where you are the reason something isn't happening. And a real part of the work is now suspicion, because your dependency tree is an attack surface. In late 2025, a worm moved through NPM that stole credentials from any machine that installed it, used those credentials to infect that maintainer's own packages, and kept going with nobody driving. Over 1,000 packages in the first wave. Researchers reading the payload noticed it looked AI-written, tidy comments, emojis. What you develop at this level is harder to name. You stop picturing users on your machine and start picturing them on a 4-year-old phone, on a train, on one bar. 100 kilobytes of script is nothing like 100 kilobytes of photo. The phone has to read every byte and think about it. And while it's thinking, the screen doesn't answer anyone. None of this is visible. The failures you prevent don't get names. And nobody thanks you for a rewrite that never happened. Level 6. The committee. And then there are a few hundred people on Earth whose loop is measured in decades. Brendan Eich had 10 days. Netscape, May 1995. Syntax borrowed from Java, objects from Self, functions from Lisp. Shipped as Mocha, renamed LiveScript, renamed again to JavaScript because Sun's language was the popular one that year. Eich has said the design froze the moment the prototype worked. There was no time for a second draft. Every shortcut from those 10 days is still in there. All of it. Nothing has ever come out. And almost nothing can safely go in. In 2018, a new array method reached the last step before shipping and broke sites running a library from 2010. Someone proposed, mostly as a joke, renaming it Smoosh. The joke became a 2-week argument, and the method went out under a different name. Because a page that stops working doesn't punish the library's author. It punishes someone who has never heard of any of this and only wanted to check the weather. That's the job at the top of JavaScript. You can't fix anything. You can only add, carefully, forever. So here's the shape of it. Week 1, you never find out. Year 2, a stranger finds out for you. Year 4, a colleague finds out in a comment. Year 7, a profiler finds out. Year 10, you find out before it happens. And at the very top, someone finds out 30 years later from a bug report filed by a weather site. The language didn't change between any of those. It agreed with all of you equally the whole way through. That's not a flaw nobody got round to fixing. It's what JavaScript was for. 10 days, one browser, no error messages, users who weren't programmers. Being agreeable was the entire requirement, which leaves everyone who writes it doing the same job at every level, forever. Working out for yourself the one thing this language will never volunteer. Whether you're right.